Okay, chances are your power prices just went up. So this video is all about how to know whether your price rise is fair enough or whether it's taking the piss. And secondly, what can you do now to make sure that you're on the cheapest possible plan or one of the cheapest possible plans for the coming year. Now, I've waited a few days to make this video because even though prices change on July 1, it actually takes a few days to get a bit of a picture of what's happened. I now have all that information from all the key people and I'm going to give it to you in this video. First of all, what is a typical power price increase this July? Well, here's what the big three retailers have announced is their averages in each state. You can see they range from 3 up to 13% depending on where you live and depending which of the big three retailers you're with. Now they cover about 2 in 3 households, so that's a majority of people probably getting these sorts of increases. On the other hand, I have seen some individual plans, particularly with the smaller retailers, going up by much more than this. I saw one usage rate that's gone up by 105%, for example. Saw another plan that someone sent me, thank you Frank, which has gone up to 23% above the government reference price. Now, remember, you should not be paying more than the government reference price. That's what the government considers a fair price for electricity. It's meant to be a sort of a safety net price cap, even though it doesn't work properly. 23% above the government reference price is get out of their territory. So if your price rise is more than those average price rises I just showed you from the big retailers, or if you're going to a plan which is above the government reference price, or even if you just want to do a sense check and make sure that you're not missing out on hundreds of dollars in savings, now is the time to act, except in Victoria, which I'll explain in a minute. Now is the time to act because 80% of plans just updated on the government website. 70% of those have gone up, so almost every plan has gone up. But we can now see the new pricing post July 1 in most states, not Victoria. The reason is Victoria changes on the 1st of August. So if you're in Victoria, you want to do what we're talking about right now in a couple of weeks' time, because then you'll see the new pricing on Victorian plans. So what can you do? First port of call might be the government websites, energymadeeasy.gov.au in most states. In Victoria, it's called Victorian Energy Compare. So those are your government websites, which are going to list every publicly available plan, and they'll show you the plans in price order for your household if you put in a number that's on the front page of your bill called the NMI, National Metering Identifier. Just look for NMI on the front page of your bill. It's a 10 or 11 digit number. When you go to that government website, put that in and it will tell you what the cheapest plans are now for your household. There's also private websites which are very good, such as CanStar Blue or Whatever, WATTEVER, which is a specialist in solar plans and EV plans. You can use those as well just to get a bit of a sense check and a second opinion if you like. Or there are subscription services now which will charge you maybe $50 for the year and will constantly monitor the market every time prices change and let you know if your plan is no longer competitive. And one of those, for example, is SAIVE, who's given me some really important data for this video. So what are the cheapest plans on the market now? Well, you remember I said before, some people are being moved to plans that are 23% above the reference price. Well, there are now plans in most states that are around that far below the reference price. In fact, you'll see in New South Wales, Southeast Queensland, Victoria, remember Victoria hasn't changed prices yet, there are plans that are more than 20% below the reference price, and in South Australia, it's almost at that level. So there are some big savings to be had by switching from the reference price or, overpriced plans, even from the average price plan, according to CanStar Blue. If you're on the average price plan and you switch to the cheapest, well, you can save over $300 or $400 in most states. So that's not even from switching from a particularly shithouse plan. That's from an average plan. So there are some big savings to be had. It really does pay at this time of year just to make sure you're not being ripped off, because if you set yourself up for the next year, it could save you hundreds of dollars over that time. There you go. That's all the data we have at the moment. I'll let you know if any more comes in. My name's Joel. I'm a money saving guy. You can follow me here for more daily money stuff. I'm also on Today's Show most mornings at 8:20 a.m. I'm about to go away for a few days, but I'll be back soon. Have a great day.